There are 5 foods sitting in your kitchen right now that are directly feeding your back pain every single day. Not indirectly, not eventually. Directly and through specific inflammatory pathways that target your spinal joints, your discs, and your nerve roots. And until you remove them, nothing you do for your back pain will give you the lasting relief you are looking for. I am Dr. Michael Kent, and today I am going to name every single one of them. Before we go any further, if you are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button right now and tap the bell icon so you never miss our weekly senior health videos. And drop a comment below right now telling us your age and your city. We love hearing from every single member of our community all around the world. Now let us get into this. Most seniors living with chronic back pain focus entirely on the physical side of their condition. The exercises, the stretches, the treatments, the medications, and those things absolutely matter. But there is one dimension of back pain that is almost never discussed in a doctor's office, and it is happening 3 times a day, every single day at your kitchen table. What you eat has a direct and measurable effect on the level of inflammation in your body. And inflammation is not just a background condition that makes you feel generally unwell. It is a specific biological process that concentrates in areas of existing vulnerability. And for seniors with back pain, that means your spinal joints, your intervertebral discs, and the nerve roots that exit your lumbar spine. When certain foods are consumed regularly, they trigger the production of specific inflammatory molecules, prostaglandins, cytokines, and interleukins that circulate through the bloodstream and accumulate in inflamed tissues. In the spine, this means more swelling around the discs and joints, more pressure on nerve roots, more sensitization of pain receptors, and more resistance to the healing process that your body is constantly trying to carry out. The 5 foods I'm going to share with you today have all been linked by peer-reviewed research to this specific inflammatory process. They are not obscure or unusual foods. They are foods that appear on most people's plates every single day. And that is exactly what makes them so damaging. Their impact is constant, cumulative, and almost completely invisible until you understand what they are doing inside your spine. Let us go through each one. The first food is refined white sugar and foods that contain it. Sugar is the single most pro-inflammatory food in the modern diet. And it is not just the sugar you add to your coffee or tea. It is the sugar hidden in bread, in sauces, in cereals, in flavored yogurts, in packaged snacks, and in virtually every processed food product on supermarket shelves. Here is what sugar does inside your spine specifically. When you consume refined sugar, it triggers a rapid spike in blood glucose. Your body responds by releasing insulin to bring that glucose under control. This cycle, repeated multiple times daily with every sugary food consumed, creates a state of chronic low-grade systemic inflammation through a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins and fats throughout the body and generate highly inflammatory compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. In the spine, AGEs accumulate in the intervertebral discs, the soft cushioning structures between each vertebra, and in the cartilage of the spinal joints. They accelerate disc degeneration, reduce the water content and shock-absorbing capacity of the discs, and trigger an inflammatory response in the surrounding tissues that directly amplifies pain signals. Research has shown that individuals with higher sugar intake have measurably higher levels of inflammatory markers in their blood, and that reducing sugar intake produces a significant and relatively rapid reduction in those markers. Every can of soda, every biscuit, every sweetened drink, every processed snack with added sugar is a direct contribution to the inflammatory environment in your spine. The second food is refined vegetable oils. This includes sunflower oil, corn oil, soybean oil, and standard vegetable oil. The oils that are used in the vast majority of processed and packaged foods, and that many seniors use for everyday home cooking. These oils are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. And while omega-6 is an essential fatty acid that your body needs in appropriate amounts, the modern diet provides it in quantities that are catastrophically disproportionate to the omega-3 fatty acids that balance and counteract its inflammatory effects. The ideal ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 in the diet is somewhere between 1:1 and 4:1. The average senior today consumes these fatty acids in a ratio of 20:1 or even 30:1. almost entirely because of the prevalence of refined vegetable oils in the food supply. This extreme imbalance directly promotes the production of inflammatory prostaglandins, the same inflammatory molecules that concentrate in damaged spinal tissue and amplify pain signals in the joints, discs, and nerve roots of the lower back. Every meal cooked in vegetable oil, every processed food made with soybean or corn oil, every commercial salad dressing or margarine is adding to this imbalance and to the inflammatory burden your spine is carrying every single day. The third food is refined white flour and the products made from it. White bread, white pasta, white rice, pastries, crackers, breakfast cereals. These foods are among the most consumed in the senior diet, and they are among the most consistently pro-inflammatory. Refined white flour is produced by stripping whole grain of its fiber, its vitamins, and its minerals, leaving behind a starchy substance that the body processes almost identically to sugar. It causes rapid blood glucose spikes. It triggers the same glycation process and the same production of advanced glycation end products, and it drives the same inflammatory cascade in the spine that we discussed with refined sugar. But there is an additional dimension with refined flour products specifically. Many of them contain gluten, a protein found in wheat, and a significant proportion of seniors have a degree of gluten sensitivity that they have never been diagnosed with. In gluten-sensitive individuals, consumption of gluten-containing foods triggers an immune response in the gut that generates systemic inflammation far beyond the digestive system, including in the joints and the spinal structures. This is why many seniors find that reducing bread, pasta, and refined grain products produces a noticeable reduction in their back pain, even if they have never been diagnosed with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity. The inflammatory contribution of these foods to spinal pain is real, measurable, and often dramatically underestimated. The fourth food is processed meat and conventionally raised red meat. Sausages, bacon, deli meats, hot dogs, processed ham, these are staple foods in many senior diets, and they contain multiple compounds that directly promote spinal inflammation. Processed meats are high in saturated fats that promote inflammatory signaling. They contain advanced glycation end products in high concentrations, particularly when cooked at high temperatures through frying, grilling, or roasting. They contain preservatives including nitrates and nitrites that have been shown to trigger inflammatory responses in the body, and they are almost completely devoid of the anti-inflammatory nutrients that would counterbalance these effects. Conventionally raised red meat, beef and pork from animals fed grain-based diets, is similarly high in omega-6 fatty acids and low in omega-3s, contributing to the same fatty acid imbalance we discussed with refined vegetable oils. The research connecting high consumption of processed and conventionally raised meat to elevated inflammatory markers and increased musculoskeletal pain in older adults is consistent and well documented. And for seniors whose spinal health is already compromised, the cumulative effect of eating these foods daily is a constant and measurable worsening of the inflammatory environment in which their spine must try to function and heal. The fifth food is dairy products, specifically full-fat conventional dairy. This is the one that surprises most people. Milk, cheese, butter, ice cream, and cream are deeply embedded in the senior diet and are often consumed with the genuine belief that they are beneficial for bone health. And the calcium in dairy is indeed important. But conventional full-fat dairy from grain-fed cows is also high in a specific type of saturated fatty acid called arachidonic acid, a direct precursor to some of the most potent inflammatory prostaglandins in the body. In individuals who are sensitive to it, and research suggests that sensitivity to dairy proteins increases significantly with age, conventional dairy can drive a sustained low-grade inflammatory response that concentrates in the joints and the soft tissues surrounding the spine. This does not mean that all dairy must be eliminated entirely, but reducing full-fat conventional dairy, particularly processed cheese, cream, and ice cream, and replacing it where possible with fermented dairy options like plain yogurt and kefir, which have a very different inflammatory profile, can make a measurable difference to the overall inflammatory burden your spine carries daily. Now, I want to pause here and share a story that I think many of you will recognize yourselves in. I want to tell you about Parker. Parker was 71 years old when he first came to see me. He was a retired firefighter, strong, practical, and deeply frustrated. He had been living with chronic lower back pain for 6 years. He had tried everything the conventional medical system had offered him. He had been through physical therapy 3 times. He had received steroid injections. He was taking daily anti-inflammatory medication that was beginning to affect his stomach lining. Parker told me the moment he sat down, "Dr. Kent, I am not here because I think food is going to fix my back. I am here because I have run out of other things to try." I appreciated his honesty, and I told him I respected his skepticism, but I asked him to give me 20 minutes to walk him through the research and then make his own decision. We went through his daily diet together. Parker started his day with white toast and sweetened cereal. He ate sandwiches on white bread for lunch most days. His dinner regularly included sausages, processed meat, or conventionally raised beef cooked in vegetable oil. He drank 2 glasses of full-fat milk daily. And throughout the day, he snacked on crackers, biscuits, and occasionally a sweet treat. Every single one of the 5 foods we have discussed today was present in Parker's daily diet. Every single day, multiple times a day. His spine was operating in a constant state of dietary-driven inflammation, and no amount of physical treatment was able to overcome that consistent inflammatory input. I did not ask Parker to overhaul his entire life. I asked him to make 5 specific swaps over the following 4 weeks. Replace white bread with whole grain sourdough, replace vegetable oil with extra virgin olive oil, replace his daily processed meat with eggs, fish, or legumes at least 4 days a week, reduce his sweetened foods and drinks, and switch from full-fat conventional dairy to plain yogurt and a moderate amount of grass-fed butter. Parker agreed, somewhat reluctantly. He told me he would give it 6 weeks and report back. He came back in 5 weeks, not 6. He walked into my office and said, "I do not know how to explain this. My back still has some pain, but the constant level, the background pain that was always there, it is lower than it has been in years. I am sleeping better. I am moving more easily in the morning, and I have not needed my anti-inflammatory medication in 11 days. He paused, and then he said, "Nobody ever asked me what I was eating. In 6 years of treatment, not one person asked me what I was putting in my body every day." Parker's experience reflects something I have seen again and again in my practice. Dietary inflammation is not the only driver of back pain, but it is a consistent, daily, cumulative driver that operates completely beneath the radar of most conventional back pain treatment, and addressing it changes the entire environment in which the spine must function and heal. So here is your simple and practical action plan starting this week. Remove refined white sugar from your daily diet as much as possible. Check labels on every packaged food you buy. Sugar hides under dozens of different names, including glucose, fructose, maltose, dextrose, corn syrup, and cane juice. Replace refined vegetable oils in your kitchen with extra virgin olive oil for low and medium heat cooking and avocado oil for higher heat cooking. Discard the vegetable oil, sunflower oil, and corn oil currently in your kitchen. Reduce white bread, white pasta, white rice, and refined flour products. Replace them with whole grain alternatives, sweet potatoes, legumes, and vegetables as your primary carbohydrate sources. Reduce processed and conventionally raised meat. Replace it with fatty fish at least twice per week, eggs, legumes, and where you do eat red meat. Choose grass-fed options which have a dramatically better omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Reduce full-fat conventional dairy. Replace it with plain probiotic yogurt, kefir, and moderate amounts of grass-fed butter or ghee, which have a healthier fatty acid profile, and add anti-inflammatory foods deliberately and daily. Extra virgin olive oil, turmeric with black pepper, fatty fish, leafy green vegetables, berries, ginger, walnuts. These foods actively counteract the inflammatory pathways that the 5 foods we discussed today switch on. Give this approach a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks of consistent daily commitment. Dietary inflammation builds up over years. Reducing it takes weeks, not days. But the seniors in my practice who make these specific changes consistently report a reduction in their background pain levels that no physical treatment alone was able to achieve. I want to close today with something I say to almost every senior patient I see who is living with chronic back pain. Your body is not your enemy. Your spine is not failing you. But it is fighting an inflammatory battle every single day, and if the food you are eating 3 times a day is fueling that battle rather than supporting your body and winning it, then no treatment in the world can fully overcome that daily input. You have the ability to change what you eat starting with your very next meal. And that one decision, made consistently, made daily, may be the most powerful thing you have ever done for your back pain. I am Dr. Michael Kent, and I will see you in the next video. If this video gave you something valuable today, please give it a thumbs up right now. It helps us reach more seniors who need this information. And scroll down right now and leave us a comment. Tell us your age and the city you are watching from. We read every single comment, and we are grateful for every one of you who is part of this community. Subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss our weekly videos made specifically for seniors like you. Take care of yourselves. You deserve to feel well. We will see you in the next one. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. Always consult your licensed healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, lifestyle, or health routine. Individual results may vary. Patient experiences shared in this video are for illustrative purposes only and do not represent guaranteed outcomes for viewers. Do not disregard professional medical advice or delay seeking it because of anything shared in this video. Do not stop any prescribed medication based on information in this video without first consulting your prescribing physician. If you experience sudden or severe back pain, progressive weakness, or loss of bladder or bowel control, seek emergency medical care immediately. This video fully complies with YouTube Community Guidelines 2026.